everybody speeding.
Okay, cool.
The new adjustment to the road between the F.T. Williams Highway and from St. Peter's Main Road to the Factory Road, opposite the private airport. Now, the road was recently marked over properly, and there are different changes. For example, area number 1 at the U Lounge or the Cayenne Jet. In the past, you could have only made a right turn to go down to the Factory Road. If you're coming from the opposite direction, which would have been from Connery to Buckley, St. Peter's area, you couldn't have made a right turn into the U Lounge. Now, persons were complaining it was inconveniencing them. They had to go all the way up the road to turn back around by the roundabout. Now, the road is marked out for 2 right turns, 1 from each direction. If you're coming from Gillard's gas station traveling to Connery, you can make a right turn down to the Factory Road. If you're coming from Connery to the Gillard's gas station now, you can make a right turn into the U Lounge. However, in that area, that distance between the Factory Road and the U Lounge, the road was marked out in a way that after you pass a certain portion of that marking, you would see the dotted lines. Those dotted lines are when you are permitted to enter that lane from your direction. We find persons are using that area to do overtaking. That is dangerous. That is illegal. The lane is only for persons who intend to turn right, not for overtaking. If you're not going right, the vehicle ahead of you would be keeping straight, so you should be following behind that vehicle. After you pass that area and there are the broken lines where you're permitted to overtake, then you could overtake at your own risk. But you're not supposed to be overtaken in those lanes. Now, at the Gillard's gas station where you could have made a right turn into the gas station, if you realize the road was marked over and that right turn is no longer in the middle of the road. If you're exiting the Gillard's gas station also, you're not permitted to make a right turn. These changes were made to avoid the lot of accidents we were having recent times. If you're coming out of the roundabout, it's a blind spot going around the corner by the gas station. Is not much the police can do in terms of changing that roundabout, but we can change the way that persons use the road to ensure that it's safe for them. There are no signs there. Persons kept asking when the signs are going to be placed up to Monday when we were at the other radio program. And we are pleased to tell people that the signs are ready. So it's just for them to be installed. So very shortly, those signs will be placed. So we are here to inform the public about the changes. We don't want persons to get up in the morning and they just see a sign and they say, well, they ain't even tell us nothing. You know, even though you tell them things, sometimes they do what they want. But it's just, just to educate the public. We enforce, but we educate also. Pertaining to the signs, I made a statement just before we closed last week, and I said parents should encourage their children to avoid when they walk into schools and stuff like that, when they see the signs, damaging the signs. There's a offense called malicious damage. Yes, and I would say the kids wouldn't know the severity of that offense, but it's the onus is on the parents to, talk to your children, encourage them not to damage the signs when they're going to school or coming from school. Sometimes it's just a fun for them to say, hey, that sign high, I could jump and reach it. They hit it, the type of material it is, it break. No, everybody gonna run, hide, nobody gonna say, hey, it's me, or it's that person. So it's left back to the police now, traffic department, to have to replace that sign And when that sign is not replaced, maybe that same child parent who is a driver would be passing and criticizing the traffic department.
And Mr. Bell, it's not just only kids or pedestrians, you have adults as well.
Yes, we have adults, but I don't think we as grown people need to tell adults, hey, do. But, so I was just more at the kids who might not have knowledge of, not really wrong from right, but the severity of their actions.
Yes.
So, speeding. Now, we come back on this topic for speeding because we realize there's an increase in accident again. Serious accidents also. And these accidents, majority of them are as a result of speeding. Yes. Section 39 speaks about speeding from the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act. It says, no person shall drive a motor vehicle of such class or description as specified in the second schedule at a speed greater than the speed therein specified, the maximum speed in that area. Now, as we speak about education, GQ, and I'm going to give you some stats. Now, last year, 2024, between January 1st and July 23rd, there were 355 tickets for exceeding the speed limit issued. That's last year.
I'm waiting for the update now. You're smiling. Is it more or less?
You make a guess.
Well, judging on your reaction, I think it's more.
Yes, because you would think, Mr. GQ, that
after all this talking, persons would be adhering.
You would think that persons would be doing better. And with the amount of money that you have to pay, you'd expect persons, this is guava crop time, we can't afford it, things are so tight, so hard, and so we can use these monies, these extra monies, to do other things, look after our families, our children, pay a bill here and there, and you would be expecting persons to be operating differently because of all these education that we're doing to the general public. But Mr. Bell will tell you our increase.
Yes, and just before I continue, the minimum fee for exceeding the speed limit is $250.
Wow.
That's like you're waiting on the jet.
Yeah.
So now the stats for this year, from January 1st to present, 1,072 speeding tickets have been issued.
The number has increased big time.
Yes, and just Monday, the stats was 1,009.
Wow.
So between Monday and this morning,
wow,
you have more than 50.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
And Mr. GQ, this doesn't stay at 250 because 250 is
just
minimum.
The minimum.
What happens to persons who are exceeding up to 60 miles per hour in a 20 miles per hour zone? That's like $650, $750. And what we want the general public to understand is that some person are saying, oh, I'm not paying that ticket, I wasn't going that speed, and so the officer takes you to court. When the officer takes you to court, the magistrate finds you guilty, and instead of paying $650, the magistrate charges you forthwith, which is right away, $1,500.
Or maybe $2,000.
Or maybe $2,000.
Yes.
And I'm saying that we can do better because the life we save may be our own, Mr. GQ, our children's lives, our family's lives, friends. And so we are asking the general public to just take a look at what is happening around you. Listen to the stats that we are bringing to you. Look at the danger, the injuries. Let's take, for example, the last week we had two accidents in almost the same year, one in Christchurch, one in Mansion. And nobody's taking heed. Nobody's understanding that we need to slow down. There is no need for speed. And I was saying on our program on Monday, where I was driving on Keon Street on Sunday evening, and Mr. Jacob, I'm sitting in my vehicle, and I'm just this street just below Juggy's shop on Keon Street, up the village. And so these vehicles coming from west, and I'm sitting in my vehicle, and I pull over because I saw them coming, and I'm in my vehicle, and I'm moving because I am thinking that they're gonna get to me, and my vehicle is shaking. And you're in a 20 miles per hour zone because it's a residential area, and these persons have no respect for themselves, the law, the other road youth, and I'm saying we're in sync. It's how we hurry to go. What's the hurry?
But the thing is, when you rush to go these places and you get in an accident, you still eventually don't reach where you want to go. So it's either you're gonna take your time and reach safely, or be reckless and don't reach.
We want the general public to be mindful that there are speed limits signs posted. 20 miles per hour zone, 40 miles per hour zone, 30 miles per hour zone, and some persons you have to be mindful. Now, let's take truckers for example.
Can you get closer to the mic? Can you get closer to the mic?
Oh, sorry. A truck, it doesn't matter where you're driving, the speed limit that you see, a truck should only be traveling 30 miles per hour.
I would like you to repeat that, please.
A truck, it doesn't matter the speed limit sign that you're seeing, a truck is only allowed to travel 30 miles per hour. And we want the general public person, the owners of truck, the drivers of truck, those persons who intend to drive truck, to understand that 30 miles per hour is your limit. I mean, some persons drive a truck as if they're driving a BMW.
I was actually driving on the highway. It happened more than once, but recently, and a truck is overtaking me.
At a speed that you shouldn't be driving.
And it's not only just me, the truck overtook like 3 vehicles. So to overtake 3 vehicles in a timely manner, that has to be speed.
And I'm saying to the general public as well, Mr. GQ, is that sometimes you see the distance that some persons are trying to overtake to where they want to go. For example, you're traveling along Keon Street close to the police station, and you're coming along Pond Road, and when you get to the vicinity of the roundabout, which is the traffic light in that area, and you overtake to go into the police parking lot. Like, what's the hurry there?
Can we pedal back to the truck story though? Why there's a restriction on trucks when it comes to speed?
Because trucks, they are heavy. They are considered heavy equipment, heavy duty vehicles, especially if you're carrying loads. And so your speed, the speed that you're traveling, must be of minimum in order for you to be mindful of the size of your vehicle and what you're carrying in your vehicle. Maybe stone, maybe trash. Sometimes it may be nothing. But because it's a heavy vehicle, anything over 30 miles per hour is considered dangerous. Some persons do not understand the difference between dangerous driving and reckless driving. Once a truck is traveling over 30 miles per hour, it's considered reckless driving because of the speed limit that they're traveling. Which brings me to remind or let the general public know that there will be a truckers meeting at the police training school on Thursday, the 31st of July 2025 at 6:30 p.m. And so we're asking the general public, persons who are owners of truck, drivers of trucks, persons who intend to drive a truck, to attend this meeting. We want to bring to the truckers the problem that we've been facing, and for them to bring to us the problem that they're facing. Because some persons feel that because it's a truck, they are not allowed to follow or adhere to the traffic rules, regulations, guidelines, and policies. But so we want to bring all that to the general public, and they too would have their issues and their concerns, and they might want to bring their criticisms and their information to us, which we will be willing to accept. So on Thursday, the 31st of July, 2025, at the police training school, 6:30 p.m. The entire traffic department staff, or more than 50% of us, will be there. Yes. To in presence of the meeting.
Okay.
Yes. Just to add to Donnelly's topic with the trucks, as she said, sometimes they feel like they are not entitled to adhere to certain laws. And if you would realize, sometimes you drive behind these trucks, they have no tail light, no brake light, no indicator light, and you stop them and you say, well, you're driving a truck, I'm driving behind you, there's no indication. They're gonna claim, the truck is a dump truck. When we dump things, they less them the damage, we don't have to be replacing them all the time, stuff like that. If you're providing a service, include all your fees in your service bill, so when these things happen, you can repair them. Because whether or not you give a valid excuse, it's still an offense. And from other persons seeing this happening, it's going to be a trend, and it's becoming a trend because, one, we find that most officers, so I'm not just going to blame the public, we find that most officers avoid stopping trucks when they're doing vehicular checkpoints and stuff like that. But sometimes when we do stop these trucks, for example, just the other day I stopped a truck on the highway, and I was telling him, hey, your number plate, is on this side, it's not in the middle. Inquire, his driver's license expired. The number plate that is on the truck is not registered to the truck. The truck is not registered, licensed, or insured. And then when you talk to them, it's like, man, the insurance fee so high and this like that. If you're going into a business, you have to set yourself for these responsibilities. Because what happens if you get in an accident and somebody die? Somebody gets seriously injured. If you're complaining about the fee just to insure your vehicle, that means you cannot compensate that person. And I don't think anybody in St. Kitts walking around with $1 million in the pocket or $1 billion in the pocket. So if they hit somebody, they say, hey, take that. We have to think about other people, because if it's on the other hand where somebody for them get injured, they're going to go the extra mile to make sure everything is done for that person to be compensated.
Right.
We just want the general public, Mr. GQ, to take speeding very seriously. Going faster than the speed limit that is posted, it's an offense. The consequences of speeding, crashing, the impact. Let's take, for example, the accident we had with the 5 persons who died. That was in Sandy Point.
Yes.
The speed the vehicle was going is amazing, and not to point fingers, Mr. GQ, but I am wondering, when you're driving at the speed that you're driving, especially a public service vehicle, you're carrying passengers, you're carrying maybe your families. What is going through your head? there is nothing in your head is saying to me, what if, suppose, if this happened, the greater severity of crashes, Mr. GQ, is based on the speeding of a vehicle. And we want the general public to understand that speeding, persons are going to complain and come to the station once they get a speeding ticket and say to us, officer, I was only traveling 30 miles per hour in a 20 miles per hour zone, but you're speeding. The zone says 20, and so you have to go 20.
Right. 20 is the maximum.
As opposed to, let's take Wellington Road for example. Persons consider Wellington Road to be a racetrack. And so we are asking the general public, be mindful, because we're on the road, as recent as yesterday afternoon, between midday to 3 o'clock. The officers are on the road, and Mr. Bell would have given you the stats. From 1,009 to 1,072. So that's what, 62?
61.
61 vehicles were given speeding ticket in such a short space of time. And you are telling me that there is nobody in their mind is saying to, but why am I part of this? Why do I want to be a part of this stats that is in the negative? Why do I want to be a part of this stats that is not for? And so we are pleading to the general public to, when you're driving, especially if you have passengers, you have children on board, be mindful of the speeding, be mindful of your limits, be mindful of the areas where you're driving. Nowhere there is a 40 miles per hour zone, nowhere there is a 20. Be careful of your communities, the area that you're driving where you're supposed to be driving 20 and you're doing a 40.
Guys, I'm going to end the program there this morning. Mr. Bell, thanks for being here. Donnelly, thanks for being here. I'm sorry to be so abrupt with your.
That's fine. I understand.
We'll be back next week, though.
Thank you so much, Mr. GQ.
We'll be back next week. And, of course, we'll open the lines next week to hear from you guys. Up next, we have our 9 o'clock report, Compliments to Grange.
Just take this advice I give. I want you no driver. You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Are you looking for a place that provides skilled nursing care and rehabilitation?